So we're pretty much at the summit.
This is the Victorian High Country. It is 5,000 square kilometres of rugged wilderness.
That is absolutely amazing.
In this series, I'm going to be exploring a small part of this amazing countryside. For the first half of the trip, I'm travelling with some mates. And in the second half, I'm heading off by myself. The Vic High Country is a four-wheel driver's paradise. It has tracks to suit all types of abilities from easy to difficult. It has river crossings. It has forests and mountains. And we're going to experience it in all sorts of weather conditions. I get a chance to rescue fellow travellers and settle the age-old question of, does my car sink or float?
Well, how's this for a camping spot? Right next to the river, beautiful grassy camping spot, only a few people around. It is lovely, it's 35 degrees. Let's go have a look at the river. Well, this is what it's all about, folks. Beautiful camping spot, crystal clear water in this river. Hardly anyone around, just me and nature and the birds. Now I can finally relax after 12 hours of driving. Absolutely lovely.
As tempting as it was to go for a swim, the water was surprisingly cold. So instead, I went back to the car and I started cooking dinner. I'm trying out my new induction cooktop. I'm making curry chicken. And then it was time to swap induction cooking for real fire. Today is New Year's Eve, and what a way to bring in the new year than sit around a campfire with some mates, telling stories and enjoying being outside. But the peace didn't last long. Before we knew it, the ground came alive with millions of these bugs. There was no escape. So the campground we stayed at was Black Snake Creek Campground, and it was absolutely beautiful. The only facilities are a single long drop toilet. There's a river flowing right next to the campground. There's a flat grassy area for camping on, and it's big enough to hold maybe 20 vehicles. And right now there's about 3 or 4 other vehicles here, and they're spaced far enough apart that it was nice and quiet for everyone last night. We had a fire, we had a really nice time, and now we're just about to hit the road and see what we can see. Our first stop will be Billy Goat Track. HEMA Maps describes Billy Goat Track as one of the steepest tracks in the Victorian High Country, so be prepared. It should only be attempted by experienced four-wheel drive enthusiasts. They grade the track as difficult, and they state that low range and high clearance is required. The track is 125 kilometres long, and you can see just how steep the ascents and descents are in this graph. This is going to be fun. It's 23 degrees. It is a beautiful sunny day. Blue skies, hardly a cloud in the sky. We've got some rain forecast for possibly today and more than likely tomorrow and the day after. So we're going to do it today while the weather is still dry. I don't know what to expect. But this is quite a nice part of the world. There's a stream winding its way next to me. Looks like a very shallow stream, but beautiful.
About an hour later, we arrived at the start of Billy Goat Track.
So, just put the car into four-wheel drive and low range, and we're about to start our run up Billy Goat Track.
The track starts off easy enough, but I'm told there's some very steep bits coming up.
And we are at 296 metres above sea level.
I'm keeping well back from the car in front of me. This is much safer in case he slips, and also I don't want to be driving in too much dust.
Now I've got a couple of bottles of wine in the back, so I'm driving extra slow to minimise the bumps. It looks like it's going to be quite a rough track. So I'm just crawling up at about 10 kilometres per hour.
It's hard to tell on camera, but it is actually rather steep. And that occasional squeak you can hear, well, that's my suspension. More on that later.
Definitely has some steep bits.
The track is starting to get steeper and steeper. Up ahead is a very long, straight, steep section which is very slippery. The trick to driving this without wheel spins is to start with low tyre pressures and keep your speed very slow and your acceleration constant.
So I'm just taking it slow. .410 metres above sea level.
This section is about 40 degrees. It's very steep. So coming up is the halfway point on Billy Goat Track. It's taken about an hour to reach this point.
Okay, so this is one of the peaks on the Billy Goat Track. And you can see behind me I've just come up this track here, which is quite steep. You probably can't tell exactly how steep it is on camera, but to give you an indication, we are going down there, and then you can see on that hill in front of us, the track goes up to the summit. So that is a nice long steep bit. And that's where we're heading next. So the drive has been pretty cool so far. Nice four-wheel driving, good track. The car has done its job really well. I've got the tyres at 25 psi and low range, four-wheel drive low range. And I'm just crawling up at about 10-15 k's an hour, and no wheel spins, it's just crawling along nicely. So it's a beautiful day, 25 degrees. Couldn't ask for better weather.
This section of track contains some very steep descents and ascents. The weather's been very dry. The ground is slippery. I'm letting the car ease its way down in low first, and then crawl up to the top again. The track is starting to get very rough, so I need to pay a lot of attention. I'm making split-second decisions. I have to choose a line and stick with it, and hope that I don't get a wheel spin. The track is very steep, close to 45 degrees.
I just had a wheel spin, I'm just backing up a little bit. I don't have too much room to back up because behind me the track curves around a bend. But I choose a different line and I'm through. The track just gets rougher and rougher and steeper and steeper. The ground is really, really loose. I've got the traction control on, I've got the diff locks on, and I'm gripping the steering wheel, holding on for dear life. The only way to get up here is to keep your speed nice and constant and let the traction control do its thing. I've got my right foot on the accelerator pedal and I've got it wedged against the side of the footwell to keep the speed nice and constant. And I'm letting the car do its thing. And I'm concentrating. And you can see at this point just how steep it is. I can see the A-track light flashing on the dash. It's working overtime. My hands are numb. My hands are numb from gripping the steering wheel. Oh my goodness. I think I know why they call it Billy Goat Track. The car has enough technology to get it through pretty much anything. You just need to let the technology do its thing. And it's making it, it's doing it. I'm absolutely astounded at how good the four-wheel drive is in this vehicle. Just look at that track. Oh my god, there's a vertical drop on both sides. The track is just as wide as the car. So we're pretty much at the summit, and that's what we've come up. That is absolutely amazing. Well worth the trip to get up here. And frankly, I'm really amazed at this vehicle. It made it. That was equal parts exhilarating and terrifying. I'm still numb, my fingers are numb.
You know, since this morning we went up 1 full kilometre up high.
We're still at an altitude of 1,300 metres and we're just driving through forest and it is absolutely beautiful. So the good thing about doing these tracks in the Victorian High Country is there's plenty of water, lots of campgrounds, they're all over the place and they're so picturesque and beautiful, and it's all for free. You just stop wherever you like. It's fantastic. Oh, I think my heart is still beating from Billy Goat Track. Oh my god. One of the things I love about the Victorian High Country is the variety of scenery. From driving through dense forest to suddenly coming out on top of a mountain with spectacular views. We spent the rest of the afternoon driving through beautiful sunlit forests and negotiating the occasional bog hole.
Hang on, Artie. Go, go, go! Here's a big mud hole, Artie.
Whew. Holy hell.
We're at an altitude of 669 meters, and from what I can see in front of me, the road is almost vertical going down. So we've got to go right down into the valley. And there's the river. Down there I can see the river in front of me. When we get down there, I believe there's a river crossing. What a fun day. Let's go.
Artie, I have no confidence in my brakes, see?
Well, hopefully your gears hold up.
If they don't, we're screwed.
Okay, we've arrived at our first major river crossing.
You proceed at your leisure. Yeah, I'll swing around to the right, follow the edge. Follow the side of the edge.
The good thing about being last in a convoy is you get to watch the people in front of you and see how they do.
Oh, good.
And sometimes you can learn from their mistakes or follow their lead.
Just let the water drain a bit before I go up so I don't make it too slippery.
Okay, first major river crossing on this trip. It's late afternoon and I am feeling tired. Didn't sleep much last night and I think I'm now starting to feel that. I really need some sleep. So we found ourselves a camping spot. This is Eagle Vale Campground. It's a very large campground. It can hold 100 vehicles, but today there's only about 40 vehicles here. They're all very spread out and it feels like we've got the place to ourselves. And now it's time to collect some firewood, put the billy on, and settle down with a few drinks and wait for evening to arrive. We spent the evening watching the stars, spotting satellites, and thinking about what adventures tomorrow will bring.